I now call upon legal counsel to administer the oath to the nominee.
Welcome, nominee. Kindly be upstanding. Bwana nominee, please inform the committee whether you subscribe to any faith.
I'm a Christian.
Using your right hand, you'll hold the Bible eye up as you proceed to swear yourself. There's a template with you.
Proceed to read. Yeah. I, Vincent Kiprop, having been invited for vetting and or approval hearing and present documents before this administration and public service committee, do solemnly swear affirm that whatever I will say and stroke or present before the whole committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, in line with the Constitution of Kenya and all other laws of the land, and that I will be, to the best of my ability, aid in performing its role without fear, favor, bias, affection, or prejudice. So help me God.
Thank you, Bwana nominee. You can proceed to put in your name and append your signature. Thank you, nominee. You are now under oath. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, nominee and the legal counsel, for that exercise. We now move to introduction, and I begin. I am Honorable Emmanuel Chemalan, chairman to this committee. Let me keep honorable members from the other side to introduce themselves. Welcome, members.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. My name is Honorable Edwin Kiprop, MCA Nandi, and also the member to this committee. Welcome.
Honorable Isaac Musbei, MCA Kaptumo Kaboi Ward, and a member of this committee.
Amatata Benjamin, MCA Kapsabet Ward, member of this committee.
My name is Honorable Silas Kogo, MCA Sangalo Keblonik, and a member to this committee. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Sarah Mutwal, MCA Kosrai, member.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Keter Julius, MCA from Jemondo Kamgetuny Ward, also member to this committee.
Thank you so much. Let me call upon the Secretariat to introduce themselves.
Good afternoon, Mr. Toho. Welcome. My name is Sang Eliud. I am a member of the Secretariat and Committee Clerk to the Committee on Administration and Public Service. Karibu.
I'm Kiru Justice. I'm the legal counsel to the County Assembly of Nandi. Welcome.
Thank you so much, members. Ground rules to these proceedings. Vincent Kiprop, the committee will engage you for 60 minutes. As a chair, I encourage absolute decorum and precision in responses. You will be expected to answer questions through the chair, and the questioning will be largely put on suitability to occupy the office as the member to the Nandi County Public Service Board. Members will therefore ask you questions about the suitability to occupy the said office. I will also give you 7 minutes to introduce yourself and tell us as a summary of the story of your life and yourself. Who are you, your career, and work experience? Take notice that no personal exchanges shall be permitted during the proceedings. I would request you to kindly hand over the original of the following documents to the clerk: national identity card, academic professional documents, tax compliance certificate, a clearance certificate from HELP, self-declaration form from ESCC, and certificate of good conduct from DCI. Thank you so much, Vincent. Vincent Kiprop. Have you ever been charged in, convicted in a court of law?
No.
Have you ever been involved in any such practices, bordering of the favorism, nepotism, dishonesty, or otherwise?
No.
At a personal level, what is your net worth?
Thank you. My net worth is approximately 5 million shillings, composed of some 3 parcels of land, a motor vehicle, some shareholdings in Corp Holding Limited, and also shares in my SACCO, that is Transelite County SACCO Limited.
Okay, I will now proceed to give you an opportunity to tell us who you are for 7 minutes. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Vincent Kiprop. I'm a 35 years old Kenyan. I was born in Tindred constituency in Kapsimatwa ward. I went to Chepilil Primary School. Thereafter, I proceeded to Metete Boys High School. And then after my Form 4, I went to KISS University for my bachelor's, that is Bachelor of Commerce, Finance and Banking option. And then later, I also went back to KISS University for my Master's of Business Administration. Professionally, I've worked for Transelite County SACCO for quite some time now. Currently, I hold the position of as a CEO, but I entered the SACCO as a marketing executive way back around 2010. But I've rose through the ranks. After that, I was given the position of an accountant, an assistant accountant, then the operations manager. And then February this year, I was given the position of the CEO after the exit of my CEO Emeritus, Bwana Ezekiel Sawe. So that is the position I currently serve. I'm in charge of a workforce of around 35 employees. We have a satellite around Tulua that's also under my jurisdiction. So that is basically, I've worked for my entire work life. I've worked for the SACCO, that is the banking sector. And so I think that is basically who I am. Professionally also, other than my academics, I'm a certified public accountant of Kenya. I'm a certified secretary and also a certified investment and financial analyst. Consequently also, I'm a member of 3 professional bodies. One, that is the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, the Institute of Certified Secretaries, and the Institute of Certified Investment and Financial Analysts of Kenya, a full member. So that is my professional side. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, the nominee. I now open to the honorable members to ask questions. And I'm going to begin with Honorable Keter.
Thank you, Chair, and welcome to our nominee before us. Now, let me ask you, what made you to think that you are suitable for this position as a member? Can you convince the honorable members?
Thank you, through the chair. I've just highlighted a bit of my educational life, and you realized I've built so much on the academics, despite having a wide academic performances. So I felt it is time now to expand my experiences outside the banking sector. You know, for us, we work under KPIs, but I thought it is wise that also, you know, for example, in my master's, I do a lot of things to do with public, the human resource, you know, the management theories, the managerial economics. And looking at my career now, I felt like I've not done so much when it comes to the issues of public. And I felt, when I saw the advertisement, I felt that this is an opportunity for me now to continue learning outside the figures. For us, we are good at figures, but of course, you know, you need to expand so that you can be able to put to practice what you have read. So I felt this is one of the opportunities for me to now test the other side of me, because I'm quite experienced in issues of finances, and I think I needed to have that all-round personality whereby I can also be able to help in issues of public issues, and I thought this was one of them. Thank you.
Chair, as you proceed, thank you. I can see in your documents you have worked with the Trans-Allied Circle. How is it now compared to how did you improve? Is it still working based on, because you serve as a CEO in that as per your papers? How is it now?
Thank you, through the chair. At Trans-Allied County Circle, formerly Nandi Teacher Circle, we have quite a very beautiful journey. That circle, I think it had some issues way back around 2000 to 2003, where we were at negative. For us, we came way back post 2010. Just to mention a few, I think we have done a lot of improvements there. As we speak, that institution is now a going concern. In fact, we can even be able to pay our shareholders a return of up to 10% on dividends, something that by maybe 15 or so years ago, we were at negative. We could not even pay anything to them. So as I see, I'm a very proud person. In fact, I was telling my friends, if I was to leave this institution now, if I write a book, I think Trans-Allied County Circle will have a very good chapter, because we have had a lot of issues to go through. We have also realized that it is also good to have a very good name. Our name was watered down then. We have taken a lot of trouble to bring that good name back. And I was telling my friends we should steer this ship going this direction so that we can be able to restore back the confidence that we had. Because from the books I read, at some point, we were the best circle in the entire Rift Valley. That is our goal now. We are headed back there, and the momentum is on. I believe in the next 5 or so years, we'll be somewhere in the map of Kenya as pertaining the circle sector industry. Thank you.
Chair, as you have stated that you are also the son of soil, tell us now you want to, if considered as a member to that board, tell us at least 3 or 4 items that you think you will improve as a member, and the main key, what will you be doing as a member? Because we know we have so many sectors. Can you expand on that?
Thank you. I think my key targets that I've seen, that it's going to make sure that the county government of Nandi as at large, that we are going to make sure that the HR function is working well. I think my starting point is policies. Because from what we have been having, you know, for us, we are at the private sector, we are not privileged to actually what is going on. But of course, if there are some things that were public, we were able to make a following and know that maybe where was the problem at the first place, and maybe so. So my first point is, first of all, let us do with the issues of policy. Are they in place? And if they are in place, we should make sure that we adhere to the policies, because when we follow the policies, even if we craft good policies in place, I can assure you those policies will be working even after some of us have left. So my starting point is policy. And then number two, we should also be informed by science. For instance, if there are issues to do with hiring, first of all, do we need these new people in the first place? So that we can be able to look at the benefits of the new employees vis-a-vis the service. Because you realize sometimes you might be hiring, yet you could even look for those people within. Those are the internal maybe advertisements. So I believe we must have a very have a good policy that informs all the issues of HR in the county government of Nandi, so that everything that we do is informed by policy. And of course, we have looked even at the issues of maybe through the audits, the demand for these people. So I believe my cornerstone is policy, and also another thing which is very important, coming from the private sector, is the issues of data. How is our data? Because everything is data. Data for us from the private sector, data is money. In fact, we say we monetize our data, because if you have your records of employees, very good data, and of course when I talk data, we should also shift from the physical data and talk about the digital data, because of course physical data again is subject to a lot of manipulation. But if you have that digital data, it will inform the decision that you are going to make pertaining to HR. All of them, from hiring, promotions, will be informed by data, and a very good database that is maybe must be available digitally. Even for issues of audit, if you compare an institution that is manual and an institution that is digital to some extent, when it comes to audit of whatever nature, whether financial, HR, a firm that is digital enough, you'll have a very good audit report. And even if there is something to implement, you'll be well informed by the available data, compared to an institution that is not digital enough. And also, you know, the records are not kept very well. So I believe my key focus now will be on policy and also the records. Thank you.
Thank you. Now my last question, so that I can hand over the mic to back to chair. Suppose, because I have heard you are very rich of ideas on how to do. Suppose if there's not value or you don't get support from the part of implementation, what will you do?
Thank you. I believe as a board, if I'll be considered to be a member, I know a board, first of all, composed of a team of people. And then number two, I think a board does not work in isolation. I believe even this assembly is part of our advisors, or part of the bodies that we are going to consider for advice. So I believe if we could have an issue with implementers, the first thing to do is to have a talk, a table talk, because we should ensure that as long as you are very sure we are doing the right thing, we should be able to convince the implementers that these are the results that will accrue to this institution if we are going to follow these directions. So first of all, we'll try as much as possible to have a table talk with whoever, either the stakeholders, be it the implementers, even this house, so that we can be able to see, because after all, we want to work for this county. And remember, HR issues is also going to affect the development. For instance, if we talk about the issues of the ceilings of recurrent versus development, if we have so much recurrent, which means also the development will be impacted so much. So I believe, having that understanding that that is the goal, I believe we can be able to ensure that we convince all the relevant stakeholders so that we can move in one direction. Thank you.
Maybe the last one, so as I hand over. Now tell me at least two bodies that you can, time to time, you can be consulting. Maybe for you to make a decision, a prior decision when you are making, because you are a member. Which other bodies can you consult? Are you allowed to consult? If yes, which are those other bodies? Because you cannot work the way you have said, you are not in Ireland, you are not working alone. Are there some parties that if we consider you, you will be consulting?
Thank you. I believe our first point of consultation will be the executive, the office of the governor, and the various ECs, especially if, for example, you want to do an issue dealing, for example, a Department of Finance. I believe we are also going to consult the entire department so that we can be able to be at pay. Remember also, as a board, you cannot work in isolation. So you need to work in tandem with the department. So I believe the first point of consultation will be the executive members, for example, the CECs and maybe the CEOs. And by extension also, I think through the regular reports, we will also seeking guidance from this house. Thank you.
Now, the last one, Chair, now that you have said you will be consulting board and executive and so many of those other, how is it board now independent?
Thank you. I think when we talk of the independence to the board, it pertains the decisions that you are making. Remember, for example, consultation. Maybe a request has come in from a department that maybe they'd require to have, certain number of people. We also need to seek consultation on clarity. For example, the skills, the expertise, the level of people they want, in terms of experiences. But in terms of making the decisions, for example, whether to hire, to promote, I think that one will be very independent. We'll not be consulting because we'll be having the records guiding us. For example, in terms of promotions, we have a clear guideline on how to do promotions. You don't need to consult maybe an office, you just consult the law.
Now, thank you. As I rest my case, now what will you do to make sure that whatever you are doing in board, every part of Nandi County, for example, enjoys the devolution, the fruit of devolution? That is in terms, what are some of your ideas? Because I know for the sake of those who are watching, following us, give us maybe in brief how you intend, if given this position, on how you can do influence so that you don't break the law. At the same time, the devolution is being felt in all the sides of the county government.
Thank you. Having a background from the private sector, I believe one of my key issues is going to do on compliance. Because I believe, even if you look at our budgets come from different departments. So I'd be the champion of ensuring that, for example, if you have a budget that was budgeted for a particular department, I'll try to ensure that whatever the chance I get, let us have these budgets to the relevance, so that we don't have diversion of budgets. Because if the crafters of a budget come up with the whole budget of the county, it means they had looked at all the sectors of the county, all the departments, all the areas. So I believe one of the ways to ensure that devolution reaches, because I know at the budget process, it is very difficult to leave a section of the county outside at the budgeting process. I think problems comes in when we are at the implementation of that budget. So I'll ensure that maybe if I got a chance, which is, I believe it is outside the mandate of the Public Service Board, we should ensure that our budgets are executed according to the way it was approved, so that we can have an equal benefit of the resources of this county to all our areas of jurisdiction. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Keter. We are moving on with the questions, and now I would like to welcome Honorable Rupeti to have his time. Welcome.
Okay, thank you, Chair. First of all, congratulations, CPA, for your nomination. So my first question or my interest is that you have said that you are the son of the soil, and you have been working in Nandi all through. So you are aware of what is happening in Nandi. So my question is that, are you aware of the challenges that we have in the current Public Service Board of Nandi?
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm aware of the issues, not conclusive, but of course, the ones that have come public, I think you have been able to make a following, and I'm aware of some of them. I also am aware that there is a case in court on the same. I'm also aware that there was an audit, an HR audit done by the Public Service Commission. Unfortunately, I have not had a chance to go through the audit. which I believe, if you ask me, it is one of the documents that if we implement some of the recommendations therein, we can be able to solve. I know not all of the issues that we have, but some of them. And then again, now that the issues are in court, I think, I don't know whether we are going to, because we are hearing about issues of illegalities, and I want to believe that the court is going to deliver a very good ruling so that we can be able to work on it and move on. Because again, having court cases is also going to impact on service delivery to the people of Nandi. So that is the bit that I'm aware of in terms of the issues surrounding the HR in Nandi.
What about the wage bill?
Thank you. I'm also aware that our wage bill is way back past the ceiling set by the government. And I believe tackling that issue of wage bill, I can assure you, it is not even a one-day event. Even 1 year is not enough. It will be a journey for us if given the chance, so that we can even set ourselves that maybe in the next 3 years, we'll be able to bring back the wage bill to the required ceiling of 35%. But I know it is way above the recommended ceilings.
So there is a case in court right now by those employees which they were terminated. And also, there was some application that has been done. So, in case the court rule in favor of those employees that they should be back, and then there are these ones which have already applied. So, in case you are given this position, how will you handle that case, and the wage bill is already high?
Thank you. Without going to the demerits and merits of that case, I believe I've never had a chance to go through what was the pleadings by the county government, but I will not go much into that case. I know it might land us into issues, but maybe let me give you what I think of the same. First of all, the issues that were there before this whole issue began was the issues of and procedural hiring of these employees. And I believe if it's really established that there was some irregularities in the process of hiring these employees, the court cannot be able to, support such things, because if the issue in the first place was an illegality, no competent court in Kenya can be able to support such things. So I don't know whether we can be able to prove that there was really lapse of procedure during this process. You've also asked me about what is the fate now, or what happens if the court rules in favor of those who had gone to court. And also, the board has also gone ahead and advertised for some of these positions. And so what happens now to the issues of wage bill? First of all, I think we must agree that Kenyans have become so litigious. Everybody now goes to court anytime they want, which is their right. But then again, we must look at the bigger picture, because assuming that we have a total of the entire population of employment in Nandi County, both the county assembly and the executive, even if we say we have, let's say, around 6,000 people on payroll, our population currently, I don't know whether it's around 300,000. So if you do your maths and say the people on employment is roughly, I don't think even we are about 5% of the entire population in Nandi. Now, if we have such huge number of employees, it is also affecting the other sectors, the development in other sectors, the health. So I know in matters of court, I know we might not be able to give the ifs and if nots, but I want to believe as a county now, because as a collective responsibility, both the board, the county assembly and the executive, I believe we must confront this monster once and for all, because if these things were done, who did it? Who did it? Because in as much as we want to victimize those employees, somebody must be held responsible, so that we deal with this mess once and for all. And then, of course, you've seen what is happening in Kenya, that we go for the smaller fish and we leave the small fish. I believe we should take responsibility, beginning from, first of all, who did the mess. And then again, even if for these employees, because there must be a part that they played that was not good also on their side, so that we can apportion blame to each and every person accordingly. Because you can see now we are in a mess. We don't know whether to go forward, to stop, or to even dissolve the county. So in matters of that court case, I might not say much about it because it's beyond our purview as maybe as a board, as an assembly, but I believe we must start asking ourselves the relevant questions so that we deal with these things from the top down. Thank you.
So mostly the board will be hiring the staff. So in case here is a scenario whereby you have advertised a position, and then maybe at the end of your interview, you might come up 2 or 3 people scoring the same marks. So, and you have to decide on one. What are other parameters that you may use to break the tie?
Thank you. I think you are talking about scoring the same out matters of maybe presentation during the interview.
Yeah, everything the same.
The same.
Yeah.
I believe because we also need to be fair to everyone, I believe we can also go down and see maybe the qualification going down, even up to Form 4. So that, because you must be very fair to each and everyone. And if the scores were the same, and of course we have one position, I believe we should have something that is, which does not disadvantage everyone there. For example, if you say we move to the grade in Form 4, we can say we use that one, because that one, it does not disadvantage anyone. Every person there has an equal chance of being selected basing on their performance. So I believe we'll resort to things that does not disadvantage any of that candidate at that point.
And what percentage should the people living with disability have in job opportunities?
I believe around 30%, but the PWDs, the marginalized, and the special groups should have around 30%.
PWDs and?
We have the marginalized groups. We have also the special category groups, like maybe the youth.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, okay, we have at times maybe a staff quits the job and then the position remains vacant. For how long should one act in that position before you advertise for a new person?
Thank you. The person should act for not more than 6 months before that position being substantively filled. So it should be not more than 6 months.
And during that acting period, should that person throw some allowances from that acting position, or he remains with his or her position only?
I believe because you realize if this person is in acting capacity, it means, first of all, he is also dispensing his or her duties, and then also he's also acting on these other positions. I believe he'll be able to be given some allowances for that extraneous work he's doing.
For example, now, in the current Public Service Board, the Vice Chair has been acting for a quite long period, the position of chair. So when somebody is acting, does that person assume all the powers of the substantive person?
I think he doesn't assume all the powers. There's a reason as to why, even in signings, he must be able to designate under his or her name that he is acting or she is acting. So it means, therefore, that the law envisages that if you are in acting capacity, there are some limits that you will not be able to go past those limits.
So the last question is this. In case your sibling, applied for a position, and you are the one who is going to vet him or her, when it comes to such a case, what do you do?
Thank you. I think those are some of the ethical dilemmas that we get, especially when you are at the top. And let me first of all confirm that the fact that maybe I'll be a board member, it doesn't disadvantage my siblings from being hired to this board. But what I'll do, I'll be able to ensure that I declare my interest to the board that the candidate that is coming in now is my personal sister, And because of that, I think I'll be conflicted if I stay through the interview. So I'll be able to ensure that I'll excuse myself from that interview. I'll not be able to participate during the vetting of that particular candidate and anything to do with it until the final conclusion of that particular candidate. So I'll not be part of that. I'll declare, and of course, during the meetings we have minutes, it will be very clear that during the vetting of particular person, this member was be able to declare that if he sits in this session, he'll be conflicted. So that is what I will do. I'll excuse myself from that process.
Okay. A follow-up question on what Honorable Sarah has just asked. I got up from your statement that now you're saying maybe if they tie up, you are doing an interview and then two members, you find that they have almost the same marks and so forth. I thought before you do an interview, you advertise and you give criteria, what to follow and the requirement. So if you introduce another criteria on top of the process, do you think you will have done some damage, or you will have introduced something new in what you had advertised early? Because I understand advertisement nowadays, it comes with the requirements that you meet this and this and this. Now, if you come and introduce, for example, you have given us that you will introduce maybe checking, because many may have get a grade of C or B, but minimum requirement that you had advertised says that at least you are Form 4. Then now again you come and check the credit. How will you relate the two?
Thank you, through the chair. I believe the question here in the room is if we have really these three people tying, and you need to do justice to each and every member. Of course, first of all, you are not going to introduce something new. For example, if you had said the requirement is a degree, or let's say, let's use a degree, for example, and they have tied in terms of presentations, in terms of whether there were maybe some written interviews, and you want to be really fair to the three of these people. Maybe I can even move to, for example, the degree. Maybe somebody else there will be having a first class, maybe those things. So that even if you will be maybe asked, what did you use to distinguish now between these three? At least you can explain, and it must be proved that nobody was disadvantaged out of the three. Thank you.
Back to the chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Rupert. Let us move on. Let me welcome Honorable Silas.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I have only some few questions to our nominee, Mr. To. Do you know some of the roles of the County Service Board? Kindly give us around 4. And do you know the organogram of the Nandi County government? If yes, kindly brief us on the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe allow me to begin with the first question on the roles of the County Public Service Board. One is to maybe establish, actually not maybe, to establish and abolish offices, to also appoint people to hold those offices, maybe in acting or in full capacity. They are also mandated to ensure that they regularly give reports to this assembly, or maybe how they are implementing the various policies. The board also advises the county government on how maybe the issues of HR functions have been implemented within the county. And also lastly, they'll also be able to advise on to the extent in which the employees are able to adhere to the various guidelines in terms of discharging their public duties. Thank you. The next question was on the organogram. To the county government, I believe we have, first of all, two arms. We have the county executive and the county assembly. Maybe allow me to dwell on the executive. I think we have the county executive being led by the governor, and of course down we have the deputy governor, and also just not below so much that we have the county public service on the other side, and also we have the audit committee. And then now it comes down to the CECs. For example, now we want to break down the departments. We have the CECs and then the CEO, and then to the directors and the sub-county and the sub-directors to each and particular department. So I believe that is a nutshell of the organogram, right away from the county executive to the directors. And then, of course, after directors, now it will depend on the department, the level of maybe the sub-departments that they'll be having. Thank you.
Through the chair, our nominee, what are some of the values and principles of governance for the public officers as espoused in the Article 10 of Constitution of Kenya 2010?
Thank you. Through the chair, I believe the values of good governance, we have, first of all, the rule of law. We have equality, transparency, accountability, and of course, we have also to have the issues of equity among the members. We give each and everyone an equal chance of maybe participating or in doing anything within the county. So I believe that is the values that I know of. I know there are very many. It's quite a huge list. Thank you.
Through the chair, kindly nominee, give us 5 ways in which your qualifications and work experience is relevant to the position in which you have been nominated to.
Thank you. Through the chair, I think from my qualification, I hold a master's of business administration. During my training, I've been able to go through quite a range of studies. First of all, I'm going to ensure that we address the issue of quality, the quality management. For example, we can be able to ensure that we are getting sufficiently enough service from our employees. And I know it's quite a journey. For us in the private sector, we work under something known as key performance indicators. Before you work, we give you a target. For example, if you're a loan officer, you're given a target like you should send maybe 100 million shillings per month. So I know it is quite a huge task in public service, but I believe we should be able to ensure that we equip our employees so that we can be able to get maximum value from them. So one of them is to ensure that we have quality of service. And when you have quality of service, again, it goes even beyond and ensure that the members within the county also get quality service. We'll also be ensured that we observe the issues of strategies on how to achieve the various things. For example, how can we maximize, for example, the issues of on-source revenue? Because I believe we are doing not so much as expected from us. I was seeing what it was expected from us in terms of on-source revenue vis-a-vis what we were able to collect. So I believe in terms of strategizing on how we can be able to maximize on-source revenue, I believe I'll come in handy because having been a student of strategic management, we'll be able to explore. Because, these things differ from county to county. Maybe what can work for us here might not even work for Uasin Gishu County. So I believe, first of all, we should start by understanding ourselves. Where are we? What can we do as an individual county to do better? Because what has been affecting most of our strategies and maybe, the hard work that we try to achieve some of the things we want to achieve is copy and paste. That you go somewhere and copy something that works, for example, for a county like Mombasa, we would expect it to work for us. But the dynamics are different, the circumstances are different, their sources of revenue are different from us. So I believe, first of all, we'll strategize from where we are and what we can do to ensure that we achieve better. So I believe my knowledge of strategic management will be able to come in handy to ensure that I'm not even talking about the on-source revenue alone. I'm also talking about the other issues that we feel we are not doing much better so that we can be able to maximize and deliver maximum value to our wananchi. Also, we have the issues of, the management theory. For example, you realize that money is not the only motivator in public service. As much as that is what you've been made to understand, there are other things that can motivate employees to work better. Because you realize, you give me money today, 2 months down the line, I feel that it is my rightful share, and it stops motivating me. So I believe we should also explore other measures of ensuring that we make our employees motivated for their jobs. Be it even if you observe the issues of promotion and the other issues that will make somebody to make sure that they'll put in their best in terms of delivering on their mandates. So I believe that those are some of the things that we are going to ensure that we put in so that we can be able to make this county better. And lastly, I believe Kenya and Nandi, by extension, we have some very good laws in place. So I believe we must also work the journey of compliance. Because, you know, if the law is there and there's no compliance, that law is as good as it's not in existence. So I believe we should also be able to go through the laws and policies that we have and make sure that we try as much as possible to comply. Because, you know, the law is very good. It is fair to everyone. And of course, you know, the crafters of these laws have taken time to make these laws. And of course, there were subsequent amendments to some of the policies, which means if we try to comply to some of these laws, I can assure you that we are going to transform this county. Thank you.
Maybe my second last question through the chair. In August, there are some employees in this county government who are laid off or their letters were revoked. And now, as a nominee, how will you confront this monster if your nomination is approved by this House? So what's your take?
Thank you. I think as discussed earlier, I would say that I believe that matter, I don't know, I'm not very sure, but I want to believe that matter is still pending in courts. So I know we might not say much about it. Maybe we can just express our opinions on the same. On my understanding, if indeed those employments were outside the law, we've known our courts. It cannot be able to keep to have a tick on something that was not lawful. If we can be able to establish that, because then the law cannot, the courts cannot be able to affirm an illegality. That is my understanding of the law. I'm not a lawyer, but I've read a few of the verdicts, and of course, so if something was not, because they say in law, if you are seeking for justice, you should come with clean hands. If now then you got that position illegally, your hands are not clean, and you're not able to be served justice. So that's my take on that.
Thank you. My final question through the chair. Now, Mr. Nominee, you are the Chief Executive Officer, Translate. And now, if given this chance to serve as a member to the board, and maybe tomorrow we are the board chair decide that you should have a meeting, and at the same time as Chief Officer you have a meeting with the Translate circle. How are you going to balance which one will come first, or how are you going to take the two at the same time? Suggesting that maybe the two meetings are to be held at around 12 p.m. How are you going to consider that? Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, as a Chief Executive Officer, you realize that position is at the topmost position. It's at a policy level. So, first of all, I'll be able to, because I'll be a member on the other side, and also maybe a secretary to the other side, I can be able to convince either way to reschedule the meetings, either side, basing on the facts. Because, for example, if one of the boards is dealing with an issue that requires a bit of urgency, I can be able to talk to the other side. We can do some rescheduling and postponement so that we can be able to deliver on both. So I look at the matters of, maybe priority and maybe the urgency of the agenda to wherever, either the board or my office. Thank you.
Maybe, let's say the two are very crucial meetings. You must attend. Are you going to leave the one at the Translate, or you are going to leave the board one? So the two are very, very much crucial. They need your input. You must be there. How are you going to do it? Thank you.
Thank you. I believe, first of all, that calls for self-judgment. I'll do my self-judgment after maybe having the understanding of the agenda of both the meetings. I can even consider, because I have a deputy, can be able to attend. And by extension also, I think meetings provide for apologies. If it reaches that point, I'll be able to apologize on one of them and attend the other one. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Silas. Before I invite Honorable Matata, I want to remind you, you remain with 16 minutes. When ask a question, kindly try to be brief. And Honorable members, let us have two so that we manage time. Welcome, Honorable Matata.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I have a concern. You are asked by the chair your net worth, and you indicated that it is 5 million. But having listened the list of properties that you listed, it might not be commensurate with what you've said. So can you clarify further?
Thank you. I think I confess that the net worth that I listed is at cost, not at valuation, because I did not have a chance to do valuation. So the value that I gave was at cost, at acquisition, the total, not the present net value.
Now, do you understand this word leave of absence?
Yes.
What is it?
I believe a leave of absence is when an employee is given permission by the employer to be away from work for quite some time beyond the normal leaves that we know, the annual leave, maternity leave. So that is what we term as absence of service. Absence of leave, sorry.
Let me welcome Mospe, Honorable Mospe.
Okay, Vincent, first of all, I want to congratulate you for your achievements, and particularly in Transelite Circle. I attest that indeed a good job is happening there. And now, my worry is just to ask, you are coming to be a member of the board. You are leaving an organization that was on its deathbed as you came in, and you now want to leave it in the name of, if I heard you correctly, to more experience. How is that? Because you to me, you are touching lives better on the other end, and it is a very delicate, as we know, in Nandi, circles are very delicate, and it largely live or die depending on who is at the helm. Now, your hands seem to have been safe, but you are coming here now. How are you going to leave the Transelite? Much as we need you anyway.
Thank you. Through the chair, I believe I carefully selected and applied for the position of a member of the Public Service Board. Having read through their mandate and all the requirements, I did because I knew being a member is a part-time job. It's not a full-time job. So that is how I'll be able to balance within the two.
Now, another question, and this is a hypothetical question. You attend a funeral, say with the members of the executive, for instance, His Excellency the Governor. Then in the course of the talks in the funeral, the governor is tasked to employ a member of the bereaved family. Now the governor rises and says, Vincent, this young man or this young lady should get a letter by next week. You are a member of the board. What will be your course of action? I mean, how will you react?
Thank you. I believe I'm first of all, I'm aware of the procedures of maybe hiring. So I think my first thought there is, first of all, I will not be able to accept such things because that is not how things are done. And that's why I initially began by talking about having the policies in place. And policies should be able to, a good policy is the one that each and every one of us within that, if it is a county government or something, is all aware of. So as long as we are all aware of the policy, I think that one will not be able to arise. In any case, if that person should be employed, he should come through the right procedure, not through pronouncements on burials. Thank you.
And then finally, what is your opinion on this practice that is rampant in Nandi? And especially now we have quite a number of workers that were laid off, although we know they are in court. This practice of volunteer, do you think it is exploitation or you think it is okay? Because most of our facilities like hospitals and wherever these people were working, the roads, now the same workers are on volunteer basis without being paid a single penny. Maybe they are promised that they'll be given first priority. One, is it ethical? Two, is it okay for them to be considered when an opportunity comes? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. I believe that also takes us back again to the issues of policy, first of all. Does our policy, for example, allow such things? Because if you have, because from the word go, volunteering is not a bad thing. Because it is being done by the person whom she or he wants to volunteer. So it's not a bad thing. But what does your policy now, as an institution, say about volunteering? The terms, maybe what is the extent of their service? Maybe, and if there is anything to be paid, is it being addressed in the policy? So I believe the starting point for that is the policy, because if we have that one to the mercy of anyone in that office, of course we are going to have problems, because everybody is going to do the way he or she wants to do. But if you have policy guiding those things, even if it comes to issues of considerations for employment, I think you'll be off the hook. But if you have it being haphazardly applied by whoever is in charge of a particular department, we'll always be problems. Yes.
Thank you so much, Honorable Mospe. The last one, Honorable Edwin.
Maybe as an honorable member, I have a last follow-up question, so for the sake of clarification. Allowed to draw both allowance from the elite and the same board member. As a board member, are you allowed to draw those allowance? I know there are some allowance. For the sake of clarity.
As a CEO, no.
So it means the one has to relinquish or what? Because I heard you saying this is a part-time job. Which one now? I was asking, I know there will be some allowance. Are you allowed to draw both in as elite, maybe when you have attended a meeting, at the same time you are drawing allowance in both as a board member?
Thank you. I think I did not get that question well, but I've now gotten it well. I thought you were talking about drawing allowance as a CEO at Trans-Elite County Circle. At Translate County SACCO, I'm serving a 3-year contract with a specified amount of benefits. So for those ones, I'm paid according to my contract. But then again, on the other side, I'll be serving with the terms and conditions of service as a public service board member. So I believe there is no law that disallows me from earning from both sides, because the other one is a salary based on the contract, and then the other ones are allowances within the provisions of the SRC. So I think I'm not excluded from earning from either, because the other one is a salary as a result of a contract of service, then the other one is as determined by the salaries and SRC. Thank you.
You, Chair.
Honorable Edwin.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Once more, good afternoon, Nominee.
Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Just, Chairman, I only have 2 questions that I want to ask our nominee. The first question is that the 2010 Constitution has values and principles and governance for the public officers in the Republic of Kenya, the 2010 Constitution. What are some of the values and governance? Are you aware of the values and governance for public officers? That is the first question. The second question is that our nominee kindly, can you inform this committee who is a person of integrity? Who is a person of integrity? And if you can begin with that one, who is a person of integrity? And if so, through the chair, are you one of them? Are you one of them?
Thank you.
Thank you. Nominee, before you answer, I think you are going to answer the second one, because the first one you've already answered the other time. So.
Thank you. Allow me to maybe say who is a person of integrity. I believe being a person of integrity is a person who is accountable for his actions, very transparent, observes the rule of law, and of all, by the serve without favor, giving everybody an equal chance of maybe benefiting from a service. That's integrity. Standing by your words is integrity, and also, and of course, again, observing the issues of trust, because I come from an institution whereby we sell hope to earn trust. So I believe as a person of integrity, you should be able to earn trust from your stakeholders. That is now being a person of integrity. You stand by your words. Thank you.
Through the chair, so CPA, you know very well that there is unemployment all over the country, and even in the world, most of our youth lack employment. So, and you have said very well that you are working as a CEO in a Translate SACCO, a contract of 3 years, and it is renewable. Is it so? And now you are now coming in for another job, which is 6 years and renewable. Don't you think that it is unfair to other youths which have no jobs? They have the qualification the way you have, and you have occupied the two places.
Thank you. Having observed my work at Elite, I believe we were part of the people that brought reforms, ideally putting it in quotes, medicine to that institution. My own thinking is that we are also ailing as a county. We need somebody to inject some medicine to this county so that even the same youth can be able to benefit. I believe I'm up to the task to ensure that we clean up the mess so that we can have people serving, even the youth and everyone serving well without the issues that we are going through. Because I know if there was something to measure the level of stress, and you apply it on the same people that were dropped, I want to assure you, those people are stressed. So I believe we come in to ensure that we clear those issues so that we can have our county working smoothly. And by extension, by the way, if you address the HR function, even the service delivery now to my own father in Kapsimatwa will be able to be very, very happy because he'll be served by a motivated person, a person who really knows what he's doing, so that if we address this issue, there are some benefits that will accrue to the members of this county indirectly by virtue of very good service delivered to them. So I believe I will not be unfair, but I'll be fair to them. Thank you.
Is that in case you are given chance to work in this board, so as a gentleman, okay, who is inconsiderate of others, would you mind resigning in the other side of Transelite for others to get an opportunity? Because I believe that you want to transform our public service board, and you have done the same in Transelite. So, to be somebody fair, I think that if you are considered to be in the other side of the public service board, so to be gentle enough, you can just resign to allow others also to have a chance.
I thank you for that question. They say a good dancer knows when to leave the stage. Currently, I'm at the helm of that institution. I believe I will not be staying there for a very long time because you realize things change. So I have a strategic plan to implement until 2027. I believe by then I will have done a lot of very good succession planning so that we prepare everyone for anything, because I cannot be a CEO for more than 10 years. I think that is, you should leave the stage for others also to perfect, because as of now, I believe I've done my bit of around 50%. So if I did the next 50%, I'll be able to ensure that also I leave the stage for others to also now take the cycle to the next stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, members and
just a follow-up, because we are in agreement that you are doing well there. Then now you want to give others to come and experiment again, and yet you are doing well, and you are saying you don't want to be a CEO for more than, you said more than what?
Yes.
And we know successful CEOs who've served until retirement. Why do you want to abandon that place? Because
thank you. I believe when you reach the positions that I'm currently occupying, apart from steering the company forward, you should also have in place a very good succession planning. Because it doesn't mean that you even live in maybe as you go to another job. Our life is not predictable. So supposing if I die today, or if I die in the next 5 years, what happens to the company? So I should prepare the company for my absence at any particular time. Yes.
thank you so much, honorable members, together with our nominee. Honorable members, I think that marks the end of our engagement, and I would like to give a nominee 2 minutes for final remarks.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me to take this chance to thank this assembly and this committee for having me here. This is my first time coming to this chamber. I've been outside there, but I've never stepped to this chamber. So allow me first of all to thank you for having me here. Secondly, I believe this is our county. We don't have another county. It is about the responsibility of all of us to ensure that each and everything is working in Nandi County so that we can be known for the good reasons from each and every department. I'll be very happy that we can have a county that people come to benchmark on various issues. That is my strong understanding, and I believe equally this assembly will also form part of the institutions that ensure that we'll be a county known in Kenya for very good reasons. We've already been known for issues of athletics. We can also to ensure that we shift that attention also to matters governance so that we can be known for the good things. I thank you for this chance, and may God bless this county government of Nandi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, nominee. Thank you very much. The committee shall retreat for report writing, and we shall notify you the findings and the final recommendations. Kindly can you ensure you have all your original documents, and I'm calling upon Sachin Atam to usher out the nominee.
Thank you.